Hare Krishna Mataji. You can start reading now. Here, let me share my screen.
Om Ajnanathimirantasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurimilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Today I'm going to read the book Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. On December 7, 1947, Abe wrote to Gandhi from Kanpur. Gandhi was living at the Birla Mansion in Delhi, where large military forces throughout the city discouraged Hindu-Muslim uprising. Gandhi's secretary, Pyarilal Nair, described Gandhi at this time as the saddest man one could picture, the man he had led in the struggle for Indian independence. Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and others had taken the leadership of the nation, and Gandhi, with his doctrines of non-violence, unity, and agrarianism, was now at odds with them in many ways. He feared he was becoming an anachronism. His former colleagues admired him but rejected his leadership. All his programs, Hindu-Muslim unity, non-violence, upliftment for the poor, although praised throughout the world, were failures in the India of 1947. On a recent visit to a Muslim refugee camp, a crowd of Muslims who surrounded his car had cursed him, and at a public prayer meeting, a Hindu crowd had shouted him down and ended his meeting when he had attempted to read from the Quran. At 78 years, Gandhi was physically weak and melancholy. In all likelihood, Abe's letter would never reach him. Abe knew it. Sending a letter to Gandhi would be like putting a note in a bottle and sending it into sea. It would arrive in the flood of mail and Gandhi would be too busy to see it. But Abe sent it nonetheless. Dear friend Mahatmaji, please accept my respectful namaskar. I am your unknown friend, but I had to write to you at times and again, although you never cared to reply them. I send you my papers back to Godhead, but your secretaries told me that you have very little time to read the letters and much less for reading the magazines. I asked for an interview with you, but your busy secretaries never cared to reply this. Anyway, as I am your very old friend, although unknown to you, I am writing to you in order to bring you to the rightful position deserved by you. As a sincere friend, I must not deviate from my duty towards a friend like your good self. I tell you as a sincere friend that you must immediately retire from active politics if you do not desire to die an inglorious death. You have 125 years to live as you have desired to live, but if you die an inglorious death, it is no worth. The honor and prestige that you have obtained during the course of your present lifetime are not possible to be obtained by anyone else within the living memory, but you must know that all these honors and prestiges were false inasmuch as they were created by the illusory energy of Godhead called the Maya. By this falsity, I do not mean to say that your so many friends were false to you, nor you were false to them. But the falsity, I mean illusion, or in other words, the false friendship and honors obtained thereby were but creation of Maya, and therefore they are always temporary or false, as you may call it. But none of you, neither your friends nor yourself, know this truth. A sadhu is not supposed to flatter but to cut. This is the basis of his friendship, that he cuts away the illusion of the materialistic person. Mahatma Gandhi, forsaken by his friends, bitterly disappointed at the outcome of the long, hard struggle for Indian independence and apprehensive about the future, had been reduced to a position in which he might be able to realize that his friends and work were ultimately illusory. Thus, it was the perfect time for him to comprehend Abhay's message. Now, by the grace of God, that illusion is going to be cleared, and thus your faithful friends like Acharya, Kripalini, and others are accusing you for your inability at the present moment to give them any practical program of work as you happen to give them during your glorious days of non cooperation movement. So, you are all also in a plight to find out a proper solution for the present political tangle created by your opponents. You should therefore take a note of warning from your insignificant friends like me that unless you retire timely from politics and engage yourself 100% in the preaching work of Bhagavad Gita, which is the real function of the Mahatmas, you shall have to meet with such inglorious death and Mussolini, Hitler, or Lloyd George met with. For years, Abhay had wanted to approach Mahatma Gandhi with this message. In fact, he had written before, although it had been of no avail. But now he was convinced that unless Gandhi got out politics, he would soon die an inglorious death. That Gandhi was remaining active in politics rather than preaching devotional service put him in need of a warning. Abhay was writing to save a friend. You can easily understand as to how some of your political enemies in the garb of friends, both Indian and English, have deliberately cheated you and have broken your heart by doing the same mischief for which you have struggled so hard for so many years. You wanted chiefly Hindu Muslim unity in India, and they have tactfully managed to undo your work by creation of the Pakistan and India separately. You wanted freedom for India, but they have given permanent dependence of India. You wanted to do something for the upliftment of the position of the Bangis, but they are still rotting as Bangis even though you are living in the Bangi colony. They are all therefore illusions, and when these things will be presented to you as they are, you must consider them as God sent. God has favored you by dissipating the illusion you were hovering in, and by the same illusion you were nursing those ideas as truth. Abhay dutifully attempted to inform Gandhi that there was nothing absolute within this relative world. Ahimsa or non-violence must always be followed by violence, just as light is followed by darkness. Nothing is absolute truth in the dual world. You did not know this, wrote Abhay. Neither you ever cared to know this from the right sources, and therefore all your attempts to create unity were followed by disunity, and ahimsa was followed by himsa. Abhay pointed out that Gandhi had never undergone the standard practice of for spiritual advancement, namely accepting a bona fide spiritual master. All the Bhagavad Gita declares the necessity of accepting a guru in disciplinic succession. Gandhi was well known for listening to his inner voice and for extracting ideas from various writers like Ruskin and Thoreau and mixing them with teachings from the New Testament and the Gita. Gita. Had Gandhi approached a guru, said Abhay, he would not have become bewildered within the sphere of relative truth. We'll stop here. In the
Yeah.
okay. Oh, so today's reading talks about the details of Prabhupada's letter which he wrote to Mahatma Gandhi. He wrote many letters but never reached to Gandhiji. The last letter he wrote was just before Gandhi's assassination. Abhay was urging him to retire immediately from active politics to avoid an inglorious death and instead devote himself entirely to preaching the philosophy and religion of the Bhagavad Gita. He even predicted Gandhi's death. Abhay believed Gandhi's political efforts were an illusion or Maya, and that his recent disappointments, such as the partition of India, were a sign from God for him to change his focus to spirituality. He stressed the necessity of accepting a bona fide spiritual master or guru, which Gandhi had neglected for realizing the absolute truth. although the letter went unanswered and Gandhi was assassinated a month later. Abe's warning proved tragically prophetic. Following Gandhi's death,